actually started to fast a couple of days before last Friday's videos. So I've now been fasting for 10 days, and guess what? I have lost 10 kilos. Welcome to Donu'S Week, which is about what I've been up to for the past 7 days, the people I've interacted with, the places I've been to, the things I've done and not done, and the thoughts I've had. Hi, thank God it's Friday. Well, the only remotely exciting thing I've done in the past week is go to an art exhibition. I was invited by my friend Stefania, who works for the European Union, and the event was hosted by the European Union. But the artists were Nigerians, and their names are Ife Sinachi and Emeka. Their stuff is great. If I could afford it, I definitely have bought 1 or 2 of their pieces. I urge you to go online and check them out. In case you're rich enough to afford their wonderful talent. Okay, so the rest of the week has been obsessively focused on trying to deal with the challenges that have been thrown up by the fact that I recently became a type 2 diabetic. And my doctor, Adetola, has told me that I can reverse it within maybe 3 months. I'm not even on any medication at the moment. So it's about lifestyle changes. It's about tackling the weight. It's about getting into exercise and, other subsidiary activities that will strengthen my ability to beat this terrible thing called diabetes, which sounds harmless, but actually can kill and causes amputations and all kinds of appalling diseases. So the reason I've decided to share this journey with my Donu'S World viewers is because it's something that affects so many people. I mean, there are 34 million diabetics in America alone. And, I can't imagine how many there are. I think there are 12 million in the UK and several in Nigeria and other African countries. So, that means basically that if you're not type 2 diabetic yourself, or even type 1, you definitely know at least one person who is. So that means that my challenge, my struggle, is something that a lot of people can identify with. And I hope you keep me posted on any issues you have. I will try and keep you posted. And I just want to thank all the people who contacted me after I announced this bad news last Friday. Some through social media channels, Facebook, YouTube, and a lot of friends just called me up privately or sent me text messages. I was so touched because I didn't even know half of those people, my friends. I didn't even know they were watching Donu'S World. But some of them say that they've been watching it every week or almost every week since it started a year ago. So thanks, guys and girls. Really, really grateful for your attentions and for the concerns you have expressed about my health. So, what have I done? Well, I actually started to fast a couple of days before last Friday's videos. So I've now been fasting for 10 days, and guess what? I have lost 10 kilos, which I think is pretty amazing. And I've not been fasting full time. The first 4 days was part-time fasting, or if you like, intermittent fasting. It's only since last Saturday have I done without food completely and existed and survived purely on water, herbal tea, black coffee, no sugar, no sweeteners, no honey. Now, some people disapprove of that amount of deprivation. Some people even think it's dangerous, but it's not. However, I'm not here, at least not today, to justify the method I have chosen around weight loss and detoxification. I believe in fasting, and if you want to know why, look up a guy called Dr. Jason Fung. He's a Chinese-Canadian doctor. He's got lots of YouTube videos. He's written a couple of books. I'm totally convinced. And I've even seen some of the excellent effects of fasting in the past. It's just I never kept it up. I did 3 days in 2022 and then 5 days in 2023. Fasting is supposed to be something you do consistently. So all my weight loss efforts up to now have been a case of 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or even 3 steps back. And this time I am determined to crush it. And I wanted to have an aggressive start to my healthcare program, because I'm the type of person who, if I go on a nice, gentle Mediterranean diet or do a little bit of intermittent fasting and I lose 1 or 2 kilos in a week, it's not going to motivate me enough. I'm a bit of an extremist. So I knew that unless I grabbed the bull by the horns and hit the ground running by completely depriving myself and doing the stronger extended fasting, which you can read about the benefits in Dr. Fung's book and the rationale, I knew I wasn't going to be satisfied or motivated enough to continue. So I've done it. I've lost 10 kilos. I'm having my first meal in a week this evening. I'm very pleased with myself. I tell you something, anything you set out to do and wind up doing well or doing completely, it's such a great boost to self-esteem. And when it comes to things like fasting or any form of weight loss program, it's a fantastic boost to the body. I have suffered from a bit of fatigue, a little bit of hunger, but very little. Mostly, I felt really buoyant mentally as well as physically. I had almost no side effects. I used to suffer from itching. I couldn't figure out why, because at one point I thought it must be because I was allergic to something, maybe the detergent my clothes were washed in, or my bed sheets were washed in, or some hidden food item that maybe I didn't know. Like I eat a lot of garlic. Maybe I'm allergic to garlic and I don't know it. Anyway, one more or the other. I never did any allergy testing, but I was always scratching. And, after 3 or 4 days of this all-out fasting, the itching completely disappeared and hasn't come back. I'm sure it will come back if I go back to, eating really unhealthily and overfeeding myself. But I know that I'm on the right track, and my plan is not to sort of do without food for the rest of my life. After I have my meal tonight, I'm going to move on to what we call OMAD in my Facebook fasting group, which is linked to Dr. Fung's philosophies. And OMAD is 1 meal a day. Okay, so I'm going to do OMAD till the middle of June and combine it with a keto diet, which means that my 1 meal a day will involve me avoiding carbs, especially sugar, which has always been my downfall. I'm a complete sugar addict. I can't believe I've done without sugar, cheesecake, etc. for the past 10 days. And, I've had almost no withdrawal symptoms. In fact, none. It's a miracle. My aim is to look a lot better than I do now and fit into an attractive outfit at my goddaughter Gabriella's wedding in Spain in August. I haven't yet figured out how I'm going to maximize this whole weight loss thing, but I'm definitely going to do at least a couple more hardcore 7-day fasts between now and August. And I'll combine it with intermittent fasting in one form or another, whether it's OMAD or TUMAD, that's 2 meals a day, and low carb keto, and then exercise, very important. I'm going to become a serious exercise person, and I'll keep you posted on my progress. And now for the weekly segment in which I share my food for thought. So when my diabetes diagnosis became publicly known, while everyone else was calling me to say, I'm so sorry, my friend Miguel, who by the way happens to be Gabriella's dad, said, this is the best thing that has happened to you in a long time. And what he meant by that is that, I'm a reckless person. I have suicidal, self-destructive tendencies. Without something drastic, like this, you've got type 2 diagnosis, I would probably have carried on piling on the weight or ignoring the problem until I dropped dead from a heart attack, no warning, or a stroke, or until I slid into dementia, which is another byproduct of obesity. This way, God has given me a chance to pull myself back from the brink. Because even though type 2 diabetes is bad, it's not the worst thing that can happen as a result of obesity. So it's like I've been given an opportunity, because I'm the type of person who only takes action when there's a crisis. So I've been given a crisis, but it's not the worst type of crisis. After all, instead of being told I had type 2 diabetes, I could have wound up having a stroke and being in a wheelchair. So food for thought is, don't copy me. Take care of your health, your finances, or whatever it is, without waiting until an emergency occurs. Okay? Self-preservation, common sense, use your intelligence, and make the best of what's left of the rest of your life. Thank you.